Do you want to get off it at some point? Or?
Well, I can get off of it. I mean, I've done it before. It's just something to do right now. And it's so easy to get or whatever. It's just something to do. It goes with the territory right now. But, you know, because when I'm ready to put it down, it ain't looking back or whatever. But I got plans and stuff that's going to happen for me. So, this, you know, I'm not going to be one of these people that's been down here 40 or 50 years. And some of them are 70 years old and been down there and raised their kids down here and stuff. And now their kids is down here. And, like, generations of people are down here. And it's like, that's fucking crazy. That's sad. And they're proud of it. They're like, I'm a downtown baby. I'm a DTG baby. I'm like, well, that's really sad because they're proud of it. But maybe they understand it. I don't.
It's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, my homosexual.
Melissa.
Yes.
Melissa, you were here how long ago? It was about a year and a half?
Yes.
Probably a year, maybe 2 years.
Something like that.
It's been a while since I interviewed you. What's going on in your life since then?
Oh gosh, a lot. Like mostly my health is. I have a lot of health issues.
What's going on with your health?
I need my dental work done. I need a hip surgery done. My hip has been fractured and the socket I need a replacement socket. Yeah.
Are you still using crack?
Every now and then. I've pretty much stopped all that because my health is more important, you know. I let a lot of my health issues just go on by and neglected them. You know, like when I had a toothache or a dental problem, I didn't go immediately and keep up with it, you know. I just kept letting it go, and now it's like everything's falling all to pieces all of a sudden.
How many years have you been down here on Skid Row?
Since 2003.
So quite a while.
A long time. It seems like eternity.
Yeah. What do you make of all these years of this lifestyle? The sex work, the drugs, the homelessness?
Oh, it's horrific, you know. I thank God that I survived it, because most people haven't and didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of people die, right?
Yeah, I know of a lot, and some just disappeared. I don't know what happened to them or whatever, and it's kind of makes you kind of nervous, like what happened to them, where'd they go, you know, like everybody just disappears and you don't know anyone around and you're always seeing new people and stuff, so they come down here and get stuck or whatever their circumstances is.
And looking back at your life, what do you blame for why you ended up
I don't
down
blame
there?
anyone. I just made the decisions. I knew my consequences, but I didn't know the severity it would be at the, you know, you never look ahead and say, well, all this is going to catch up to me. You just think at that moment, you know, at that moment is the only thing you think about. You don't take time to stop and analyze everything all the way to the end, what the outcome at the end is going to be, you know. So it's like, I don't blame anyone. I made those decisions. I just didn't realize the severity of when it catch up to you, you know? And you have to deal with it, and whatever it is. You made the decisions. I knew right from wrong. I knew, you know, it ain't like like they say, you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. I knew, and I just said, well, all right, I'll deal with it right now, you know, at that time, the circumstances.
What's your biggest regret in your life?
Just not doing my health, keeping up with my health, and probably staying more in contact with my family. I kind of like let them keep at a distance because of my addiction. I didn't want them to be burdened with it, you know, like to keep, you know, them burdened with it. You know, it's enough problems with life and stuff, you know, my daughter and my grandbaby and stuff. I kept it away from them. I wish I would have had a more closer bond with them, but, you know, everything's already destined. Whatever happens in your life, you already, you know, it's already pre-written. That's what I believe.
You started with crack at what age?
About 17, 18. After I had my daughter, thankfully I didn't do it while I was pregnant with her before. You know, I tried it, got hooked on it, liked it, and that was it. You know.
What kind of things have you seen? Where that life has taken you since then?
Oh gosh, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen, where did I begin? I've seen people being beat to death. I've seen people, women being raped. I've seen...
What's the worst thing that's happened to you?
Worst thing that's happened to me? Probably, there was a guy that got obsessed with me back home, and he kept attacking me, and he attacked me like 4 or 5 times. He would come from out of nowhere when I was on the dark streets walking or just by myself. First time he attacked me with I think it was a Cisco bottle, bust me in the head and glasses on. And every time he did it, he would call and say he would press charges against me for something stupid to get me locked up. Then he attacked me with mace. Then he attacked me with, the last time he attacked me with a hammer. I was walking down the street and he attacked me with a hammer and hit me in the head with the claw part. And I had my head stapled back here. I got a scar back here. I can't be hitting the head back there or it could probably kill me. And I had my head stapled back together. And I was laying on the street, pouring blood going down in the sewer, you know. And I looked at the sky and I told God, if he comes back in my life, God, you already see what he's doing. It's going to be me and him. And the next day he came, and asked me, did I want some drugs? And he's sorry and this, that, and other. And I already said it was me and him. And we went up through the alley. I told him, let's cut through the alley, take a shortcut back to his car. And I told him I had to pee, so I squatted like I was peeing. And he kept walking, and I went up behind him with a box cutter and just started cutting him and stuff. And I went to jail for that. And they only gave me 18 months, 16 months. Well, they gave me 3 years, but I did like 85%. And the whole time I was in there, he come and visited me, bought me money and jewelry, and it was sickening. And I don't know how I got away from that crazy man.
What have you learned about human nature from living this life?
Oh my gosh. Psychologically, you got to be fit or you won't survive. Your psychological has everything to do with it. Knowing how to persuade people, manipulate people. People say, oh, you manipulate people. Sometimes I do have to manipulate people to get what I want or what's going to save my life. I've had a pimp that was a psychopath, and he used to lock us in the room. And one girl that he got, he raped her. He was raping her right in front of me in the butt. And she was a young girl. He had found her, and she had pretty little curly hair and stuff, young, real young. And he was raping her, and she went in the bathroom because she heard sirens. She fell asleep, and he was a schizophrenic. And he went in the bathroom and seen her looking out the window, and he beat her to death and broke her rib cage was up here. She was beat to death, and he told me to get a plastic bag. We was gonna call his sons for the van and to, get rid of the body. And I revived her. I got ice, and I brought her back. And I called him and told him, I got her back, this, that, and other. And the next day I helped her get away, I planned out the whole thing perfectly. And, he used to say, don't make a scene in the hall, don't, blah, blah, blah. And I played it off like she found the key to get out the house, which I already knew where it was at, I've been known. And she ran down the hall, and I went after her, and she had stole my phone. That's what I told him. And so I put my phone on the ground and scraped the back of it and told him that she dropped the phone running and this, that, and other, and I got her away. So I never seen her again, but I hope everything went good for her. I saved her life. And so that's a lot of times I don't regret the things that happened in my life because I've saved a lot of people's lives. I made a big impact in a lot of people's lives. Just living a day-to-day average, Susie Q life, I wouldn't have never did that. The impact I made on a lot of young girls' lives and the lives I've saved and this, that, and other, and got people out of here, I make that sacrifice, So I don't really regret it. I feel like everybody's put somewhere for a reason.
What are you proudest of in your life?
Probably, like I said, the lives I've saved and, the women that I've, impacted, the girls I've made impacts on, even the guys, a lot of them. And some of them come back every now and then and ask about me or come through and they just give me $10, $20, just pull up. And I'm like, I'm thankful for it at that time because I really needed it for food or whatever, and not just the drugs. It ain't about the drugs. I can get drugs all the time, but sometimes, food, I don't eat the food out here on the streets because you don't know who these people are. I mean, some of them mean well, good, but some of them want to get rid of the home. You just never know. The food that they're serving out here, the hot, like the bags, like the Doritos or something like that, the sealed stuff, sometimes I'll get that, but I've stopped eating all that stuff because like 2 years ago, Thanksgiving, a couple people died of salmonella or some kind of food poisoning. One of the church organizations had served some food and it was bad, and they died from it actually. But I don't eat that stuff because you just never, and a lot of the food bank stuff is stuff that's been recalled. Even though the dates on them are good, people say, oh, the date's good. That doesn't matter. A lot of stuff is recalled from companies and they donate it to the food banks for whatever reason, and we eat it and I get sick off of it. Some people, I guess their immune system is all right, because I've seen guys eat out of the garbage can all day long, rotten foods, and it don't bother them. But if I eat something that's a little tangy or the ale, I get sick as a dog. So.
What did you, when you were a young girl, what did you dream about doing with your life?
Really, I just dreamed of one day growing up and becoming something. I didn't know exactly what it was I wanted to be. Because my mom, I had a problem when I was young. My mom left my dad, and it was a lot of, she was sleeping with other men, and I witnessed that. And I knew it's weird because at the time I knew what was going on and it hurt me really bad because I knew she was doing something wrong to my daddy. And she did that, and I used to see her and stuff, and it really messed me up, like how she could do that. And she tried to run over him with the car, with her boyfriend in the car and stuff like that. But my dad ended up leaving her alone. And I was really like a real serious young girl. I didn't play with Barbies, I didn't play with kids, nothing like that. I was real serious all the time. I guess because I was preparing for what was to come now. But I was real protecting my brother and my sister. I'd beat up people if they messed with them, and I don't know, I always had this violent tendency of protecting my brother and my sister all the time, and my mom and dad. Like, I would want to hurt people really hurt them if they hurt them. I didn't want them hurt in no way, so it's like I just wanted to make sure my family was okay, and I really never, I put all that aside, I think, because I never really remember, I did good in school, but I just never remember being like, oh, this is what I want to do when I grow up or nothing like that because I wasn't settled. My mom and dad worked all the time, and my dad's handicapped. He's got, his wrist is, he's got he was born with this wrist like this. But he's worked all his life. He's never been on county or nothing like that. He raised us, and we had everything we wanted and all that, so. But, and now, like, they work like 30 years in a mom and pop store, being robbed and beat up and stole from and burned up. The store was burned up, almost burnt them up. And now all they get is like $700 a month in a few food stamps. So it's like they're struggling back there, and I'm out here, and I get over $1,000 a month food, SSI. I never worked a day in my life. Never. I've had one job, I think, in my life. One legal, stable job. And I get over $1,000 in food stamp, SSI, and I get, 200-some thousand food stamps a month, and I never worked. So it's like I don't believe in the system. I think it's fucked up. I mean, screwed up. Excuse my language. It's screwed up because all the stuff they went through, and they have to pay for their medicines. I don't have to pay for nothing, and I just think it's a screwed up situation. Like, they worked all them years paying taxes to make sure that they don't lose their business, so they can raise their kids, and they raise their kids. And I'm a drug addict, and my sister she's real good, and my brother too. My brother, he's got money. He lives in D.C. He makes like $90-some an hour working for Range Rover, Land Rover. And he never even graduated. They put him through school. He met an Asian dude when he was young and grew up with him, and his family put him through classes and to do the computer diagnosis, all that stuff. So he come out all right, but he turned his back on my mom and dad and stuff, like, because he was ashamed of them, like, because they were so low class and everybody he knows is rich. So it's like, it's all screwed up. My sister, she's just there handling things. She's amazing. I mean, she's took care of my grandma, my grandpa when they was in a nursing home, even with a job. She raised my daughter. Now she's helping raise my grandbaby. She took care of my mom. My mom had one of those mesh implant reject things, and for years and years, and she kept having problems with her stomach, and now she found out why, and she didn't have like 7 surgeries cutting on her, and she's like, I'm ready to give up, and she was gonna give up, and she's like, I'm tired of them cutting on me and this, that, and other. I said, well, you can't do that because it ain't all about you. I said, you got people that love you. Me, you got a grandbaby. I gave you a granddaughter, a great grandbaby that loves you. She worships the ground you walk on. What's she gonna think? You just give up and leave her? And that's what made her, she's alive now. She's doing great, better than me. She's doing.
But your sister takes care of your parents.
Yeah, mm-hmm. She takes her for her, to do everything. So she takes care of both of them, my grandbaby and my mom, because my daughter, she's all right, but I'm still proud of her because she doesn't cuss, she doesn't use drugs. She's struggling. She just went through her psychology class and got her, I think, a certificate or a degree or something.
You didn't raise your daughter?
No, my mom and my sister did. Because like I said, I had her when I was like 15 years old. My older man, he just left, of course, disappeared. He was on drugs, and she was little. And the day I brought her home, my mom picked her up out the crib, and they raised them from then on. She's biracial. They used to be kind of like prejudiced, like from blacks and whites mixing and this, that, and other. they were raised that way, her and my dad, but then they fell in love with him. So it's like, now they love him, like, you know?
What's the most important thing you've learned in your life?
To be humane and considerate and compassionate and never lose that, because, you know, once you do that, it's like you're inhumane, you're not human no more. You're just like a beast or you're a demon, you know, and I've held on to that because a lot of people say, oh, they want to fuck with me, I'm gonna show them, yeah, you want to do that? And they play get back games and they say, you want to act like that, I'm gonna get on your level. And they become that person. They allow, you know, they don't have no compassion. I've seen people out here, if somebody's dead, they go through their pockets, walk over them and don't do anything to help. I mean, they don't believe in helping somebody. It's always, you owe me and you got to give me this back, or, you know, I ain't doing this for you because that time you didn't give me something. And it's like, now I've done a lot of stuff for people, giving so much of myself. It's like I forgot I was alive. I caught myself and I said, well, what about me? I'm alive. I need to be taken care of too. I need somebody, and I need that for myself, not from other people. I kept, you know, when I started getting like my hip hurting and had problems walking, I looked for people to say, hey, you need some help up? And they didn't do that. And it was people I've known for many years to say they respect me and they got a lot of love in me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like I just sat and reality hit me. One day it was like I had a spiritual awakening. I was just sitting on the ground. I seen everything flash before me. Everything I used to do to people happened right before my eyes. Exactly the same thing. You know, the little ugly things I would do with my addiction to get my drugs or because I was mad. And I used to just brush it off. I was mad at the time. You know, it wasn't my fault. I was just mad at the time. But just mad, it doesn't matter. You're still supposed to be in control of your faculties and your thinking and your way of reacting to things, because later on, people do that to you and you be in a situation where it's really a bad, you know, life or death or something, and they do it to you. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like your life will be on the line. Nobody will help you, and it's very scary. So all that flashed before me, and it really changed me. Like, now it's like I really watch my tongue and how I treat people. I mainly just keep my distance because people, you can't control people. They're going to be who they are. And how you react is, like they say, what is it, 90% how you react and 10% of the situation, it's the equation, and then 90% is how you react, and that's true. You know, most of the time I don't interact with these people because they got psychological problems. They got their own share of stuff. That's why they're here or whatever they're going. And they go through their moods, and I don't want nobody taking their you know, their attitude out on me or flashing on me, you know, because that's going to be just something else I have to deal with. And you know, I got a lot of stuff I got to catch up on myself. So
living this life, you know, sex work was part of your life at some point?
Well, it has been up to here, yeah. And I was always very manipulative with men and stuff. I don't know, even when I was like 10 or 11, me and my sister used to go to the park, and we'd be sitting in the park and an old man would ride through and won't, come here, little girl. And I would manipulate him, go to the store and buy a gang of candy and junk food and stuff, and lie to him and sneak out the store and run. It was just like I always had that in me, and I don't know where it came from. Nobody taught me, and I don't know, it was weird. And go back to my sister, and we'd have a bunch of candy and stuff. My mom would say, well, y'all get all that. My mom would say, oh, this man bought it for us. And my mom would look at me like, what the hell? But yeah, it was just always in me. That's why a lot of times I used to distance myself from my sister, and because I didn't want them to be a part of that. Like, it was just in me. So.
And the diseases that exist out here in Skid Row, were they ever a concern of yours?
Well, yeah, but I use protection. I know where to go get condoms, stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm gonna, I'll pay you extra not to use a condom. I'll be like, no, that's all right, because that little money you give me, I'll be gone today, and and tomorrow I'll be gone, because I don't know what you got. And if you're willing to do it with me, as much as I'm out here in the streets on Skid Row, then you'll do it with anybody, you know. So it's like, I use protection, and I do the best I can, you know, and get tested and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for that. And I haven't caught any STDs, which amazes me, because sometimes the condoms break or whatever. That happens.
What do you think of the guys that would pick girls up on Skid Row?
I mean, they have whatever, they have their needs to be met, and they're doing what they do. I don't really judge, but you just wonder who they are at the time. Because a couple months ago, it was weird, because like 2 or 3 different guys, and they all looked the same, kind of like heavyset Latinos, and I'm not being racial, but I'm just describing them. And they were pedophiles. Like, they had videos of their daughters, and they're having sex with them, and other little girls having sex with their moms, and even little babies sucking penises and you know, ejaculating on their faces, and the baby's crying because they can't see, and it's all in their eyes, and just some really sick stuff. And it kind of like, it was really like, wow, these are the people that's down here, like out here. And I was like, well, maybe, you know, I always say, well, I make them comfortable all the time. Don't be with anybody, because some people kill you or get you set up or whatever to get killed. So you know, I kind of like lay back, because that way they'll come back so I can get their license plate and information and report them, you know, because those are, man, it's horrible. Like, I feel like that's my disposition, especially as a mother. If I know something like that is going on, I'm supposed to react to it and do something that I could save that child's life or something. Because it's really sickening. It was like 2 of them, and I was like, what? And it was like real close together, like within a week or so. And I was like, what is it? Is it the full moon or something in the atmosphere? But you got a lot of different calibers of people out, some really sick, way out sick people out there. Guys that, you know, they're really sickening. I mean, way out sick. And you read it in books and stuff like that, but ain't nothing like experiencing something for it to sink into reality that this is not just something somebody made up. It really happened, and it's just a whole different thing. You know, a man that has sex with animals, chickens, and women that have sex with horses, and I'm like, and it's just, until you see it with your own eyes, it's not reality. You know, that's the human mind, which is kind of another thing in psychology, but it's really way out. Some really sick people out here. My one friend, it was this guy that got obsessed with me, and he picked me up and he wanted to take me to this spot somewhere. I was like, no, I'll go to this one spot, that's it, and if I'm not going there, we're not going nowhere. So we went there, and he jumped on me and tried to choke me out, and I cut him, and he got off of me, and I busted his window out with a radio. But the next day, they found a woman cut in half in the same area where he wanted to take me. Then a couple weeks later, he come try to pick me up again, and I recognized him. He's in a different car, and he couldn't get me. And me and my friend rode up beside him and tried to hit him through the windshield. I mean, the window was rolled down. He tried to hit him, and he missed him. So he was chasing us in the street with his car, tearing up his car on the meters and everything else. And I jumped on a big metal fence, because I was like, my friend was like laughing, thinking it was a joke. I said, it's not a joke. He's gonna run your ass over, and it ain't gonna be a joke. So we kept calling the police. They 30 minutes later, they still hadn't come. And when he took off with his car, the bumper was dragging and everything else. The police was going down the street, and he followed the police on the motorcycle. But the next morning, they found a girl over here under the bridge. She was dead. Her insides was cut out. So it was like he was mad because he couldn't get me or whatever. And I didn't see him again after that. So, you know, but I'm not out here in the streets no more. I stay in the house, and that's, you know, I leave that alone, because it's just this. You gotta leave stuff alone sometimes and sit back and do you. But yeah, that was a real sick dude. Like.
All right, Melissa. Well, thank you so much for coming back and sharing your story again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm.